Videos do take me a long time to edit, so I'd really appreciate if you guys could hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, and if you want to be notified when a new episode releases, be sure to hit that notification button. Now, if you're an OG fan of the channel, you would have known that there was a Gary Payton episode that was released over a year ago, but this is a new and updated version, and there are so many stories in here that weren't in the original one. So, without further ado, welcome to the complete collection of Gary Payton's greatest stories told by NBA players and legends.
I watched GP back down the guard from baseline to baseline, talking the whole time.
He looks at me, I'm like, what the hell this dude is doing, bro? And I think at that time, like, you know what I'm saying, he's just yelling, right? And I'm like, what's up? He goes, you tell me.
I used to tell my guys before the game, no matter what Gary says, don't talk back to him. Because we do not want, let the sleeping dog lie.
You know, my ego was a little big and thinking that, hey, I know I can get a shot off, and he might be good, but he was right. He didn't let me get a shot off, and you know that kind of hurt my ego.
We switch, yeah, we a switch. He got the big man on him. He posts him up. That's when I knew I was in trouble.
He talking to me. He calling the play. He throwing the ball like, yo, and still scoring the ball, stealing the ball.
And then you take his heart from him, and then you go down and kill him on the other end.
Trash talking is an art. I think probably, to me, I may have missed some guys, but you and GP were the best at it. Where'd that come from?
I'm in the top 10. I might not be top 5. I'm mad at you,
I
bro.
always say that the trash talking, you got to be able to back it up, right?
Facts.
So the first thing about trash talking is, I would actually consider who was talking the trash, and then if they have the ability to back it up to whether I was going to actually engage with somebody. Gary Payton and Charles Barkley was two of the arguably best trash talkers I ever experienced. I saw Gary Payton control the referees, his coach, my coach, the crowd, the lady in the front, the guy who was on the side of the Minnesota game sitting in the bucket. He was controlling the whole game.
So we had KG back at All-Star, and we were just talking about the game and the history of the game, and obviously your name always comes up, obviously, as one of the great point guards, but also one of the great shit talkers. And he told us a story how you you backed someone down from half court, and you was in the ref's ear, you was in the defender's ear, you was in the coach's ear, you was talking shit to everyone, all while still running your team.
It's magical.
I watched GP back down the guard from baseline to baseline, talking the whole time. Shut your ass up. 4-up twist. Hey, get his ass in here. Hey, come up. Hey, you see the hand on the hip, call it if you see it. Like, he just, that sound like it. Finally hit me, I'm like, how is GP managing all this? He talking to me, he calling the play, he throwing the ball like, yo, and still scoring the ball, stealing the ball, effective. In the huddle, he got the thing, he drawing it up. Yeah. I'm like, yo, GP to me was like masterful.
Hey, people don't understand how hard that is to be able, okay, one, you got a guard guarding you from taking the ball out. You talking to him, telling him he ain't finna take the ball. The coach saying something to the player while you dribbling, you tell the coach to sit down. One of the fans say something, you tell the fan, don't worry about it, I got this. He hand checking, you talking to the ref, hey, get his hands off me, ref. Get his hands off me, ref. Then you telling the player, say, get over there, I got this. You backing him down. Hey, people don't understand how hard that is to control the whole game. Only great players can control the whole game, dog.
And that's
multitasking at its finest.
Yeah, you know why it was so cool? Because I had a coach that'll let me do whatever I wanted to, and Coach George Carl. So, you know, I used to always call the plays that I think was more effective for myself and then get my teammates involved. So I used to call a play called 1-up, where I get on the left side and it just be one. And when Kevin was really talking about it, it was on that one side where I turn my back and I bag them down, but I'm talking to everybody at the same time. And then if the player, he try to come and try to steal that moment, I'm gonna spin on his ass and he threw, and then he gonna be all bad. So you know, it was one of them plays where nobody could defend it.
Gary Payton actually used it to get fouls, to get his teammates fouls, to get guys in and out. Like he was just a control freak.
they didn't know what the hell to do with it. So I took it to advantage, and then I still started killing them, and it was fun to me, man. That shit was hella fun, just to basically know I could control somebody with my mouthpiece and then affect them in the game.
You know, and if you went to a party with Gary, he was doing the same thing. Where the drinks at?
Hey, see, well, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Hey, what's happening, baby? You need an extra?
Yeah. Y'all ain't drinking? Shots over here.
Hey, Shaq Deezy. What's going on? Kazam!
Get them out of here. Me, man. Who with them? Right.
All right, what's happening, baby? All right. Yes, sir. KG. OBF, man. Original Black Family, baby. All right. All right. Here go my boy, JK. Boy, I don't know what you was doing trying to be Dennis Rodman little brother, but you something else, man. Remember this little Dennis Rodman little brother? Man, I was saying it, man. I don't know what he was thinking about, but that's my boy, man. What was
Hey, Gary.
I was just like, okay, this is GP. This is just who GP is.
Then I get drafted, and then I have to guard Gary Payton
Man.
every day. And
Talk
practice.
about that, dude. How was GP, bro?
GP, dog. Let me tell you about the first time I met GP.
Because Ross Strickland just told us a story that he said he get into the league, he go to the hole,
yeah,
and GP just flat out just pushed him in the stands.
Hey, GP, dog.
What's wrong with GP, bro?
So, you look, we play a pickup. This is before training camp. GP doesn't play. He walks in late in some overalls, right?
Oh, my God.
Right? He is straight. He's straight R&B thug, right? He walks in with some overalls, and we playing, and he just wanted to disrupt the whole game. He yells, hey, hold the fuck up. Hold up. He looks at me. I'm like, what the hell this dude is doing, bro? And I think at that time, like, you know what I'm saying, he's just yelling, right? And I'm like, what's up? He goes, you tell me. I'm like, I'm so lost, dog. I go, what do you mean? He goes, what do you see out here? Dude, he literally just walks in the gym. He don't see any. I go, what do you see? He go, I see your team tired. Yeah, we've been running for like almost 2 hours. He said, call a timeout. I was like, and pick up? He's like, yeah, call a timeout. I'm like, all right, timeout. I'm like, now he's like, everybody get some water. Your team tired, you call timeout, don't you? I'm like, all right, this dude just want to be an asshole. You know what I mean? I don't play pickup 4 years in a row with Magic Johnson. We ain't never called no damn timeout. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but it is the truth, though. I mean, that's the thing about it.
You call timeout in a pickup game ever?
Hey, bro.
Have you ever called a timeout in a pickup game?
Are you gonna let dudes get some water? And the rest.
Stop. So I called a timeout in a pickup game. That was my introduction to GP.
Is the rumor true that you might have had something to do with practice?
You know what, Chris? What it was we were out somewhere and we were all out having a good time. And we had a little bit too many. You know, we had a little bit too many
waters.
And he asked me, he said, how do you keep your body in so good of a shape and don't get hurt and stay always on the court? And I just told him for real. My coach, George Karl, didn't let me practice. So that was it. I said, you have to stop practicing. I brought it all afloat about the practice stuff. Let everybody know what you really was talking about.
I had just left a meeting with Coach Brown and Billy King. They assured me that a trade wasn't gonna happen. So in my mind, I'm thinking once we get to the arena and we do the press conference, all we're gonna discuss is the fact that I'm not leaving, that I'm staying. If I'm the best, if I'm a superstar, then why is this happening, man? Why is this going on? Why do my daughter got to deal with this?
Right.
But all of the questions were coming, practice. Everything was about practice. We're in here talking about practice.
Well, Coach,
I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Right.
And I didn't handle it the right way. I wish I could do it all over again, but I can't. We had just lost.
Right.
You know what I mean? We put out the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'm thinking it's a good press conference to whereas I'm coming in, I'm letting the fans know that I'm not going anywhere. We're talking about practice, man. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice. We ain't talking about the game. We're talking about practice, man. And they kept asking me about practice, and I lost it.
What was your reaction after you saw the press conference?
Oh, no, not this. Don't say it like that, Alan. Don't do it like that. But when he said it, and I said, no, that was not our conversation.
So essentially, you were telling him not to practice, so then he takes that, goes back, and hence the famous practice?
And I seen the interview, and I said, no, don't do that to me. And then all of a sudden, it gets back to Larry Brown, and Larry Brown approaches me when we played him, and he said I'd created something.
Wait,
but I
Larry
didn't.
Brown came to you?
Yeah, he came to me after a game where we played him, and he said, look what you've created. And I said, Coach, I did not create that. You know, I said, I told him what my coach let me do, and I know you're a different coach, so don't get that to me. Don't do that.
Why didn't you just say, Coach, I was drunk? I don't know what I said.
I should have just said, Coach, I'm drunk.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, Coach. I was drunk.
We're playing in Seattle, and I catch the basketball, and all I hear is, I can't repeat what he was saying, and I'm holding the basketball, and I'm looking at him, and then I had to turn around and like, is he really talking to me? Because he was talking so much trash.
Shocker.
Like,
hey, I had to do it.
I didn't know him though.
Yeah, Isaiah didn't even know who I was.
Really,
No one knew who you were. You were just talking?
I stopped for about 5 seconds. The game was going on. I was dribbling the ball, and he was talking. And I picked up the ball just to like look at him.
Hey, before we get out of here, another reference. We spoke to KG one time, and he said that one time you pulled KG and Kobe aside and taught him some shit on defense about when to go after the ball, and then Kobe applied it. It was a little back and forth, but
we was in everybody's talking about the 20th anniversary of Vince winning the dunk contest in Oakland, right? What y'all don't know is that Kobe Bryant, rest in peace to my dog, he took another level of being a defensive standpoint because Gary Payton at the practice, all-star practice, pulled us to the side because Kobe asked him something.
Kobe was just a little different. He didn't have no ego. But I'm not, as a meaning he did have an ego, but I'm saying an ego in asking OGs what to do and how to become better. And when he came to approach me at the All-Star game and asked how to make first team all defense, and I sat there at the center court and taught him a lot of things.
They pulled both of us to the side and said, let me tell y'all something. Look, when you're playing defense, and then he went through a 30-minute joint with both of us with defense.
I said this young kid has a lot of different things in him. He's got a lot of different mentality, and he kept asking me stuff every time he played me. And I posted him up, and I got it. He would always come over to me and sneak it in my ear. OG, man, why you keep killing me on these post-ups, man? You got to teach me that. What should I do? And that was just a big thing for me to hear that and to respect that. And I couldn't do nothing but respect it and teach him the game because I know I'm a lot older than him and I was going to be leaving the game soon. And I want to see somebody in that game that imitates the things that I do and can be dominant at it. And this kid was one of them guys. And I taught him everything that I needed to taught him.
Reaching and how to reach, and when you reach up and just little tricks of the trade that next time I saw Kobe after the break, he was using it. Became first team that year.
Yeah, he was one of my favorite players I've ever played with. Let alone, you know, when the All-Star game that we had in Oakland, he helped me become a great defensive player. He told me one thing. He said, "Kobe, you got to move your puppies." After he told me that, everything clicked for me after that, man. I started making all defensive teams.
And he made the first team all defense with me that year. I said this young kid has a lot of different things in him.
First time I seen him, I said, "You used that shit, GP show." He said, "You saw it. I got his ass. You saw it." Yeah, I saw it. Bitch ass nigga. I saw I caught that shit. You think I saw it? But I knew that only the three of us was part of that, so I was like, "You did the rip. You got the rip. Yeah, you saw that shit. I thought he was gonna call a foul. He didn't call that shit." I said, "Wow," because GP taught us when you rip somebody to go through their chest versus using your hand. You see this, right? He told us to take a step and come through your chest and then round out. There's no way you can protect the ball. You can't cross it back. Once you get in there, once I'm in your cab, you can't cross it up. You would either have to turn your back. Oh man, I saw Kobe take that first night. After the break, I saw it. You know, we wasn't no texting and none of that back then, but when I first saw him, I shot it. It was stated right here when I saw him. He knew exactly what I was talking about.
Students of the game.
Shout out to GP for that, yo.
No doubt.
Who is the most scared of you?
Well, Jason Kidd, who I raised, was really, really scared of me.
Meeting Gary was through his dad. His dad was an all-star coach, and Gary used to, stop by and watch us play. And, our relationship started there when, Gary was at Oregon State and I was still, growing. I was still in my diaper, still playing.
Gary kind of had Jason as a little brother, and he taught him the ropes, how to be tough. He was kind of soft at first.
His dad always told me, you gotta go play with Gary, GP. You gotta play with GP. You gotta go play with the guys and learn how to play this game because you have a lot of talent. As time went along, I was always behind Gary. Wherever Gary was, little Jason was right there with him. He toughened me up a little bit. Being, a guy who likes to talk. He talked a lot of trash, and he, would say, hey, you're not going to score. Actually, you're not going to get off a shot today when we do this drill. And I'm like, my ego was a little big and thinking that, hey, I know I can get a shot off, and he might be good. It's basketball. I can get a shot off, and he wouldn't let me get a shot off. But he was right. He didn't let me get a shot off, and that kind of hurt my ego. He would talk trash and like you're gonna go home and cry. But the big thing was he said he would never say it at the time, but he wanted to see if I would come back the next day. And I would come back, but I would, my ego and my game was a little wounded. Gary is one that loves to, chit-chat, loves to talk to guys on the court and fans. So I was with Dallas and we were playing Seattle and Tacoma. I'll never forget this. We're playing in Tacoma. This is, I'm in the NBA, and I'm playing for Dallas. I'm a rookie playing against Gary, and so we always, looked at each other, always said hi, but once we got, after the tip ball, we were, going at one another, and I'll never forget, he's posting me up, and I pretty much kind of know what he likes to do, so he went into his move, and I blocked it, and I told him, get that stuff out of here, but I didn't say stuff, but he looked back at me, and I said, get it out. And he said, what? And and I said, uh-oh. That was a big mistake. He went on like a 15-0 personal run.
Gary runs off the screen, stops, pops, three in the air, got it, nothing but net. 18 points for Gary Payton.
And then we ended up losing the game. So I went after the game and I said, hey, look, my bad. I had a mental block. I forgot who I was playing. I didn't mean to say that to you. He said, oh no, you woke me up, and that definitely helped me. But I said, don't worry about it. It'll never happen again.
I guess best or worst trash talker.
GP. I played with GP. I played against GP. He just didn't care. And the crazy thing about GP on the court, he was like that off the court. Like if he saw you in the mall, maybe that time I crossed you up, big fella, and I gave you that thing, you went up there, and you almost put your arm out of socket. You can't call me, boy. I'm a Hall of Fame. I'm first ballot, boy. I'm first ballot.
Gary Payton.
Ooh.
Gary Payton.
Uncle G.
It was 7 minutes, 7-8 minutes of a ass whipping he was giving me.
So you got to know where your man is, even though you're watching the penetrator. Payton right back at him. Payton all the way. Technical whistle. He can block shots. How about Payton spins away from Arenas. That's well done. Reach of Mike Dunleavy. Three, Payton, yes. High for Murphy. Payton. Cassell leaves it for Gary's three. Yes!
It was just one of those things where he had, 17? All on me in that first 5 minutes. Like, it was the first time in my career, like, especially early career. When you early, you dominate high school, college. Shit? No, he wasn't saying nothing. That was a problem. that was a problem. He was just scoring. So it was like, soon as I got on the court, like when we started, we got the ball, and he did that little smirk. It threw me off already. Oh shit! I just picked the ball up. Like I'm not even near the dude. I just picked it up and threw it. Like I guess he already realized. Okay, he done. Like, I done scared him, so he didn't need to talk nothing. I got subbed out I ran off the course so damn fast. Like, woo! Man, oh, that motherfucker nice. Like, it was one of those things I was like, I don't think I want to go in when he in. And then he got subbed out and Weber came in. I don't know who he is, but I can go against him.
Yeah.
Coach, I'm ready. It was one of those. At halftime, like when I got back in, he was like, "You lucky I ain't the AI type of. I would have scored 50 against you." Yeah, you right. I ain't gonna lie.
What he was doing? He was posting you up?
Everything. It was like driving, posting. We switch. Yeah, we a switch. He got the big man on him. He posted him up. That's when I knew I was in trouble. Like he got Eric Dampier switched on him. He backed him up, spent, faked it. I'm like, whew.
It's not just me.
Yeah. Ooh, this ain't the NBA I'm ready for. Yeah.
Ernie, Chuck, and Kenny, I have a confession.
What's that?
Gary made up barbecue chicken, not me.
Get out.
Did you really? Is this another story?
That's another barbecue chicken. It's not you.
Shaq gonna give up all our little secrets, man. That's your barbecue chicken.
Now, Gary always used to look for me. Like, so every now and then I like to, show my Akeem Olajuwon and you go to my fadeaway and Gary be like, "No, man, barbecue chicken. Eat his ass like some barbecue chicken." Don't shoot another fadeaway. Don't shoot another fadeaway,
man.
So that's true story.
Yeah.
It's a true story because I used to always tell him, I was like, "Man, you got barbecue chicken up in there, man. Eat him up. Go in there and get the ball, man." Because Phil used to always talk about, go to Kobe side. Nah, player, we ain't gonna get it back if we go over there, man. Let's go over here. He get double, kick it back out, man. We good. Or we got barbecue chicken in there. So that's how it was.
Hey, what's the best? Because everybody knows what kind of player you were, Gary, and a great defender, but you also talked, and so barbecue chicken is attributed to you. What do you think when people
Shaq and the Fool he made up too?
When people are telling stories about, I remember when I played Gary Payton and he said this. What was your best line? What was your best smack talk?
You can't repeat what he used to say.
I can't repeat what I used to say. I'm cutting them deep. They want to cut it deep.
It was funny. I remember because a lot of people know, like now the NBA, they'll ask you, do you want to go on these trips? And you kind of be ambassadors. And my first question is Gary going? Because if Gary's going, then I'm always going because we sit in the back and I'm in tears, literally tears. But I asked him one time, I said, "Gary, you never really talk trash to me, man. Like, I was waiting for it." He's like, "Oh, you ain't really get into that, so I just went to Vernon." Like, you wasn't even getting into it. So you were just, I was like, oh, my God.
Did you ever talk trash to Jet?
No. Kenny wasn't really that type of guy. You'll know what type of guy you want to go at, and then Kenny don't go at you like that. And then I'll talk to Chuck. Because, he verbal, and he try to punk a lot. Stop, man. Yeah. He like to punk a lot of my guys, and I used to have to run up on him and do that. So, but Kenny wasn't the dude. I wanted Vernon more. I wanted
him and Vernon.
Yeah, I wanted Vernon. He couldn't, man, come on.
Leave that alone.
Leave that alone, man.
But the crazy thing, him and Vernon would go so hard at it, and then right after the game, they meet at the same place, restaurant to eat.
And we'll be right together.
Okay, we got some photos upstairs. Okay, so what are they saying?
And some days I didn't go in there, Kenny, having it all. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to play sometime. And when that trash started coming out, it made my competitiveness come out. Okay. And when I started going at it, and then when the players started getting used to me and they was like, "Man, don't talk to him because he's going to get it going." Right. And the coaches do it. Then I would go pick the referee or I go pick somebody in the stands. And then, them fans, they always want to get at it. So, yeah, I'm going to go at you.
I used to tell my guys before the game, no matter what Gary says, don't talk back to him. Because we do not want, let the sleeping dog lie.
Well, how about this? How about being 18 years old and Gary Payton, you land in the city at 2 in the morning and he tell you, "Hey, Pert, I need a bottle of Patron." And I say, hey, GP, man, I'm 18 years old, man. I don't even know if they gonna let me, where I'm gonna find some liquor at. The liquor store closed. What can I find liquor at? Oh, you better go to the club. So I gotta come out of $500 to get in the club because I'm 18, right? So they hesitant to even let me in.
And you didn't tell them, like, I'm from the Celtics? Like, you didn't want to say anything?
I was so irrelevant. Nobody, unless I wasn't playing. Like, if you wasn't,
it's a sad story.
Not on top of that, That's to get in. Now I gotta go talk to the owner, and I gotta spend $1,000 just to get a bottle of Patron for him to let me leave out the club with to bring to Gary Payton.
Okay.
So then when I go knock on the door and say, here, Gary, here go your bottle of Patron, and also your iron clothes that you left out, that your Dickie suit that you sent to my room, and you called downstairs to check to see if I sent it down there to be pressed, to make sure I ironed it.
Yeah. What?
Hey, appreciate you, young fella, and slam the door in my face.
So, okay, he made you do all of that.
Can you match that?
No, I can't match that. That's crazy. That ain't right.
Why did he need a bottle of Patron at 2 a.m.?
Hey, Joel, man, I'm copping a plea, man. I don't know what Big Perk talking about, man. You're a good dude, man.
I don't ask no questions, man. GP was GP.
Someone had to ask it.
We're going to play against Utah, right? I think it was like an exhibition, maybe, like
John Stockton.
I've never heard GP say anything good about any point guard ever in my life. He never said anything about you because he knew I was close to you. So he'd be like, that's your boy? I'd be like, yeah. He'd be like, how close are y'all? I'm like, close enough to where if we get on the court, we probably fight. Okay. That's all he was saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? John Stockton, right? He goes, hey, this boy right here, cold white boy. You don't take this for granted. You hear me? This is a, this is a blessing for you. You know, when you face him, it's Mr. Stockton.
He wasn't tougher than Jordan. Yes, he was.
You just didn't.
Yes, he was.
Gary,
you guys didn't
Gary,
play against him. I did.
Gary, be honest.
I'm upset. I played against that man.
Gary,
Hold on.
He was
let me ask you. Forget the clock for a second. Let me ask you this seriously, because when you say that, people are going to be like, "Are you joking me?" And they did today. A lot of people.
Right, I know. A lot of people.
So
and I got to get
enough
time to explain
Not just based off the number of times that you saw John Stockton, but you're saying that he was more fundamentally sound than Michael Jordan.
We were more athletic than he was. We were mad because he said picks and said he was dirty. If a guy comes and shoots 12 times, makes 9 of them, shoots 8 free throws and makes 7 of them, that's 20-something points and have 15 assists and 4 steals a game and works out with Karl Malone and can deal with on a continuous basis, and I have to play against him 7 and 9 times a year, that is hard to guard.
No, I believe that. Gary, let's be honest. You just didn't like playing him because he wouldn't talk back to you.
True, that's true. That's true. That's a thing too.
I'm like, yeah, okay, bro, like, I love John Stockton too, but I'm going to pick him up full court. Yeah. I get in the game, pick him up full court. I'm like, damn, this dude got like, I'm like 21, just turning 22. This dude got real chest hair coming out of jersey, dog. Like,
leg hair.
Yeah, he's like a grown-ass man.
He
needs
the manscape.
Oh, man, grown-ass man. So I'm picking him up full court, and Stock didn't have a lot to him, but he hit them angles quick, right? Boom, 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 boom. And Stock ran his offense from inside college 3. Because if you touched him, it was a foul. So, like, you boom, boom. And I remember he get inside college, like, he is not about to walk me to the free throw line and run the play.
He is about to walk you to the free throw line every fucking time.
So check this out, Doc. So, I stand him up, right? And when I stand him up, we bounce off each other, and the ball go right past my face. I duck. I'm thinking it's a back door. No one's behind me.
He was throwing the ball.
He threw the ball at my face. I'm like, yo. I look back at him. He said, back the fuck up. I'm like, yo, let me tell you something, dog. It's one thing I can't do is go back to my hood and get punked by John Stockton, who's a great. I got to pick him up again full court.
Hey, dog, John Stockton was a bully, yo.
A bully, yo.
Hey, bro.
But it was also like that invisible test. If they could punk you, they will punk you.
Yep.
But if they wasn't going to punk you, then they respected you.
Yep.
What was your best line? What was your best smack talk?
You can't repeat what he used to say.
I can't repeat what I used to say.
Yeah.
I used to get on everybody. We was talking about it with Chuck. Chuck didn't know that I used to talk about their mama, their daddy, their sister, their brother. I didn't care.
Is it true that you once told someone that you're not going to even be in the league next year, and then you found out later that you actually hurt his feelings?
Yeah, I did. You know what? Lamar Odom was the one that I really went at like that, and then I was talking about his mother, and I didn't know his mother had just passed. And I said a lot of bad things to him, and I really regretted that. And he went into the locker room, and he told his agent, and his agent, my agent was there, and they talked. And my agent came and got me out of my locker room and said that the kid, Lamar was a young kid at the time, and he was very upset, and he was very emotional.
792, and afterwards we realized there was more than one Frosty.
It's dudes like that where, you know, that's why things happen off the court between players and their friends and things like that. But it's extremely disrespectful. You need to watch how he talked to other men.
And I had to go over there and I had to go and apologize, because if I would have knew that his mother had just passed, it would have never been that way. I said a lot, Christine, I said a lot of bad things to a lot of guys, and I hurt a lot of guys' feelings, and that was just me. It wasn't personal. It was just something that to get them out of their game.
So nothing was off limits?
Nothing was off limits. I never said, I said anything that I wanted to. I talk about your mother, I talk about your father, I talk about your kids, I talk about your wives. Yeah, I'll say anything to get them mad.
Walk me through the trash talking episode between you and Michael Jordan. It looked very intense, and I'm about to shut up.
Tire the fuck out of him. You just gotta tire him out. And I kept hitting him and banging him and hitting him and banging him. It took a toll on Mike. It took a toll, and then I feel myself resting him a little bit, and then the series changed. And I wish I could have did it earlier. I don't know if the outcome would have been different, but it was a difference with me and beating him down a little bit.
The glove. I had no problem with the glove. I had no problem with Gary Payton.
Well, you know what? During the time when I was in the NBA, he was the man. You know what I'm saying? So my mentality was always to take the tougher guy. So Michael was always a pleasure for me to guard. You know, everybody say, was he the toughest? No, I don't think he was the toughest. He was the funnest for me to guard, because what I was trying to do is I was trying to prove to them people that I can D somebody up great as a great scorer and then go back at him, because a lot of people were scared of him.
Right.
And when you're scared of somebody, it's never going to work. So when you make somebody understand that you're not scared of them and they're a premier player and you go back at them, it's going to put them on their toes to say, okay, this dude ain't scared.
Right.
He's got offensive skills too, and he go back. And he ran his mouth a lot, like I did.
Right.
And I wasn't backing down, and he wasn't backing down, and that's why it was so fun. It was competitive. And we could say anything to each other during that time. We can talk about anybody's parents, anything, and wouldn't take it personal. Mike talked to his? Yeah, he did. That's what people want to see.
Right.
People don't want to see you going over here guarding that person.
Right.
They want you to guard that dude, because y'all both are the premier players on y'all team. So it's starting to happen. It wouldn't have happened back in our day, but like I said again, this is their era.
Absolutely.
Who's the best, I guess best or worst, trash talker?
GP. I played with GP. I played against GP. He just didn't care. And the crazy thing about GP on the court, he was like that off the court. Like, if he saw you in the mall, maybe that time I crossed you up, big fella, and I gave you that thing, you went up there, and you almost put your arm out of socket. You can't call me, boy. I'm a Hall of Fame. I'm first ballot, boy. I'm first ballot.
Who are the best trash talkers of your era, Grant?
You know, I think early on when you really could, I don't feel like they trash talk now as much, or they're not allowed to. I think the league has cleaned that up. But it was definitely Gary Payton. I mean, Gary Payton was, you know, I mean, I remember our point guard when, you know, early on in my career, he didn't want to bring the ball up against Gary. And that's really kind of how I started bringing the ball up and playing point forward. Gary would talk to whoever, talk to refs, players, coaches on other team, fans.
Yeah.
He talked nonstop and backed it up. So he was the guy that, you know, I think was the ultimate. And it was a little personal. He got a little personal at times with folks. But I mean, I think, you know, that's basketball. You're trying, like you said, you're trying to get an advantage. Yeah. You're trying to get over on somebody. And if you backed down or you showed that you were scared, then he had you.
And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button down below, subscribe if you are new, and here are 2 new episodes that you may enjoy. So if you enjoyed this one, be sure to check out these 2. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.